I'm sure that many of you have been struggling to find these citadels on your atlas. So when you start your little map progression from the Ziggurat Refuge, you'll see this over here, which is the Burning Monolith. This is for the final pinnacle boss in early access. You go in and you realize quickly, okay, I need to do these 3 quests to get in. I have to do the Stone Citadel, the Iron Citadel, and the Copper Citadel. Get the fragments, and I can fight the boss. However, you may, like me, have been really struggling to find these. Today's video, I'm going to reveal some tips that is going to make finding these things a lot easier. I found maybe a dozen of these at this point, and yesterday in chat, someone called Not Ahead, aka Elden Soul, pointed out something quite interesting. I'm going to link his channel in the description. Thank you to him for pointing this out. But he said, did you notice that there is a bit of a pattern with Citadel spawns? And let's just have a look. So I've taken a screenshot of all of my Citadel spawns. So here is this one. I think this is copper. And here's that. Just see if you notice a pattern, because he definitely did notice a pattern with these. The pattern is these almost always border on water. Not 100% of the time, but they are almost always very close to water, if not on the coastline itself. So here, this one is on the coast, this one is on the coast, this one is on the coast. This one, a little bit of an anomaly. It's more tucked inland, but it is also slightly coastal. I mean, there is that there. There's a lot of water on the map, so you could argue like this is counted as inland, but it is, there's water there, and there are these mountain ranges over here. So here's another one where there's water here, and then these mountain ranges. And over here, this one, I would say pretty much borders on water. It is tucked around some mountain ranges over here, water, mountain ranges here, water, mountain ranges. This one, water, mountain ranges, water, mountain ranges. If you are not convinced because you say, oh, there's water everywhere and mountain ranges everywhere, well, I mean, there are patches like this where you could be coming down here. There's mountain ranges, but there is no water. But there are more clues. So let's look at that little thing over here again. Another clue we have with finding these citadels is that there are almost always at least one tower very close, one of these little towers very close, often multiple towers fairly close. Again, these are fairly frequent, so it's not like a dead giveaway. You see tower, water, that means there's a thing there. But often these towers are very close. There's always one within striking range of the citadel. Here's a tower, here's a citadel. Here's a tower, here's a citadel. Often there are multiple. There's a tower like right on top of it. Here's a tower. There's that other indication. Tower, water, citadel, mountain. There's another thing. I'm not 100% sure about this. This might be a bit of a stretch, but I have noticed as well, there does tend to also be a lot of corruption fairly nearby. So it goes from like corruption, and then the landscape changes from like grass to desert, and then corruption, tower, water, corruption over here, corruption over here. Again, if we look at the map device, not the map device, the atlas, you might say, well, I mean, like, what if I'm over here? I would say if I went down to this tower and then this opened up to a coastline, I would guess this could be a citadel down here. Or let's look further inland where I was on my atlas. I now am at a point where I cross this river, and now instead of going inland this way, I'm instead sort of hugging this coastline. So I'm thinking, I think this is water over here. I think if we kind of come around this corner, this could be a citadel, but grabbing these towers will reveal some more of the map, which makes it easier. But there's all these little signs that point. So water, mountains, corruption, towers, all within close proximity. The main point of this is if you have a split pathway where you can see one pathway is going very much inland and then the other one is more coastal, it's often a better idea to stick more to the coast. There is one other clue that I can point out, and that is these buildings. So around all of these citadels, you're going to be finding these buildings. These can actually sometimes pop out through the fog of war itself. So you'll see these, I guess these are like pyramids or ziggurats. Sometimes you'll see one of these kind of poking out through the fog of war. And then for this one, we have these little thatch roofed houses. Again, you can sometimes see these poking out. And then for this one, I think this is a copper citadel. Yep. These have these tents. So look out for the tents, look out for these ziggurat pyramids, and keep a lookout for these thatched roofs. If you see those, that means you are probably very close to one of them. So probably the main thing to look out for is just look for coastal areas that also have mountainous regions beside them. See if you can find these little buildings that are close by, and also look out for towers. Towers can be a bit of an indication. Of course, there are so many towers that it might not be too much of an indication, but I'm finding these more consistently following this pattern. One other thing that Elden Soul mentioned, and I think it's a good point, is that you are seemingly less likely to find citadels near your starting area. They tend to pop up more often the further out you get. So as you travel out, you tend to bump into them more frequently. So if you're starting your atlas, it's probably not a good idea to try and go in like a spiral circular motion and complete all the maps in the spiral and follow it in that route. Rather, pick a direction, head in that direction, and then look out for all those signs. That's what I did, and I am finding far, far, far more of these citadels than I was at the beginning. There's often patches of like 2 or 3 really close together. So yeah, let me know what you think. You think this is a bit hokey pokey, inconsistent, too hard to tell, or are you also seeing a bit of a pattern? Don't forget, I've linked Elden Soul's channel in the description. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch, like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Also join the Discord. I have a Patreon if you want to further support the channel. You can become a channel member. That's going to be it. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe. Catch you in the next video, and bye-bye.
Divine power! Divine power! It's branching exile. You're making me nervous.